So today, Caitlin Clark released a water bottle. Yes, I mean this. A Gatorade water bottle. Since we're impossible to get. Like, I think it's going to be impossible to get. Because this is a water bottle. Not only did it sell out, it was obviously going to sell out. The damn site crashed. The website crashed. The literal website, which was basically there for... there to try sell obviously Caitlin Clark's water bottle, the Gatorade website, crashed. And it wasn't some nothing website, it was fucking Gatorade. It was Gatorade. The site crashed. Like, virtual queue for a bottle of Gatorade. Like, if you guys don't know, like, it was literally like, it had a crash website. They literally had it like it was Nike sneakers.
Caitlin Clark just crashed a website, and not with a game-winning shot, not with a record-breaking performance, but with a water bottle. A $20 Gatorade bottle sold out in seconds, broke the internet, and somehow told us everything we need to know about where the sports world stands right now. This one is worth talking about. Drop a comment below. Did you try to grab one? And if you did, were you one of the lucky 2,200, or did you get absolutely cooked by the website crash? Because before we go any further, let's just say it plainly. This isn't hype. This is power.
Like, we are now in a situation where this Gatorade water bottle was limited to 2,200. And you might be saying, okay, yeah, it's going to be really difficult to get, which, duh. Anything Caitlin Clark limited to 2,000 is going to be really, really tough to get. Because, again, anything with Caitlin Clark's name on it is like gold dust. We do know that. We know that is something that is happening. And we know in general that like Caitlin Clark merch sells like crazy. And we know, everybody knows, the first batch of the Caitlin Clark...
Let's give this the proper context it deserves, because throwing around phrases like website crash and sold out in seconds is easy. But the reality of what those words actually mean, especially when applied to a Gatorade product launch, is worth unpacking. Gatorade is not a startup. Gatorade is not a small independent brand running limited drops out of someone's garage. Gatorade is one of the most recognizable sports brands on the planet. They've been in business for over 60 years. They sponsor nearly every major sports league in the United States. Their digital infrastructure processes millions of transactions daily. They're backed by PepsiCo, with the kind of corporate muscle that's supposed to make website crashes something that happens to other companies. And yet, Caitlin Clark's water bottle took their website down.
Like, I've never seen anything like that before. A damn water bottle. A damn water bottle crashed the fucking site. Like, it's going to sell out in seconds. There are 2,200 Caitlin Clark fans that will spend $20 on anything that says the word Caitlin Clark on it. Like,
the bottle was limited to 2,200 units. 2,200. Now, that might sound like a big number, but in the context of a global brand product launch, it's tiny. This wasn't mass production. This was a deliberate limited run, engineered to create exclusivity, urgency, and demand. And the demand? It was so immediate, so overwhelming, that it didn't just sell out. It broke the system. Gatorade had to deploy a virtual queue, the kind you normally see when Nike drops a limited sneaker collaboration, complete with countdown timers, waiting rooms, and traffic control systems designed for extreme volume. For a water bottle. And even that infrastructure couldn't handle it. The entire inventory was gone in approximately 20 seconds. Let that sink in. 2,200 units. 20 seconds. That's roughly 110 bottles per second, meaning the site was processing over 100 purchases every single second at peak demand. And that number probably undercounts the real traffic, because thousands of people never even made it through the queue before everything disappeared. This is the Caitlin Clark effect in its purest form. No basketball game. No highlight reel. No viral moment on the court. Just her name, a product, and a time it would go live. And that was more than enough. So the obvious question becomes, why? Why does a water bottle generate this kind of response? The answer is layered. The first layer is simple. Her fan base is extraordinary. They are deeply passionate, intensely loyal, and they've proven again and again that they will buy anything connected to her name. We saw it during her college days, when Iowa merchandise began selling at levels that embarrassed programs with decades of brand history. We saw it when her WNBA jersey instantly outsold every other player in the league. And we see it every time a limited Clark product hits the market and vanishes before casual fans even realize it exists. The second layer is scarcity psychology.
And you've got the likes of Nick Wright and stuff saying, they were like, well, nobody under the age of 35 in basketball is more popular than Caitlin Clark. And he's right. He's absolutely right. Like, I don't think anyone's really going to question that one. Like, under the age of 35, there is nobody, and I mean that when I say nobody, that is more popular than Caitlin. And that includes Wemby, that includes Luka Doncic.
When you limit something to 2,200 units and attach Caitlin Clark's name to it, you're not just selling a product, you're selling membership. Being one of the 2,200 becomes part of the value. It's the same principle behind sneaker culture. The same reason numbered art prints command massive premiums. The same reason fans buy multiple versions of the same album. Scarcity plus identity equals demand that breaks normal logic. And that brings us to the comparison that keeps coming up, Taylor Swift. Not because Clark is a musician or Swift is an athlete, but because their fan bases operate on the same emotional architecture. Both command audiences that are not just fans, but deeply invested participants in their success. Both generate loyalty so powerful that people willingly purchase multiple versions of the same basic product without hesitation. Swift can release 17 variants of the same album, and fans will buy all 17. Clark could do the same thing with water bottles. A white one, then a black one, then a blue one, then a limited colorway. And every single time? 2,200 units gone in seconds. That's how deep the brand loyalty runs. Now here's where the timing of this moment becomes especially interesting. The WNBA is currently locked in CBA negotiations. Player activity is restricted. The upcoming season's timeline is uncertain. The court is quiet. And yet, Caitlin Clark is crashing corporate websites with a water bottle. That's the real message here. The commercial engine does not stop when the basketball stops. Clark's ability to generate demand, move product, and overwhelm digital infrastructure exists independently of whether she's playing a game. Her brand runs on its own momentum, powered by a fan base that stays engaged regardless of labor disputes, scheduling uncertainty, or league negotiations. The court may be dark, but the machine is still running. That fact should terrify whichever faction inside the Players Association is most invested in using the threat of a canceled season as leverage. Because the idea that if there's no season, sponsors and brands lose interest simply does not hold up when you look at what's actually happening. Clark isn't playing. The season hasn't started. And Gatorade's website still crashed. The interest isn't going anywhere. The commercial gravity Caitlin Clark brings to women's basketball is not a seasonal phenomenon that switches off when the games stop. It exists independently of the court. Which brings us to the shoe situation, because any serious conversation about Clark's commercial profile in 2026 eventually arrives here. Clark has a Nike deal. The signature shoe is coming. And among people who track sneaker culture and sports merchandising, a clear consensus is already forming. When that shoe drops, it will be Nike's biggest launch of the year. Not the biggest women's basketball shoe launch. Not the biggest WNBA product. Nike's biggest launch. Period. Look at the reference point. Aya Wilson's first signature shoes were nearly impossible to get. And that makes sense. She's the most dominant pure basketball player in the WNBA, a two-time MVP, a finals MVP, and a generational talent. But Clark's shoes will exist on a completely different demand curve. This isn't a slight against Wilson. It's simply an honest assessment of scale. Nick Wright put it plainly, under the age of 35, there is no basketball player in America more popular than Caitlin Clark. That includes the NBA. That includes players with more championships, longer resumes, and deeper legacies. Under 35, in the United States, Clark is the name. And the Nike launch will reflect that reality in very visible, very public, and very possibly chaotic ways. The same sneaker drop infrastructure Gatorade had to deploy for a water bottle, waiting rooms, virtual queues, anti-bot systems will be fully activated. And it still probably won't be enough. The first batch of Clark shoes will be a cultural event, not just a basketball moment. Sneaker collectors who have never watched a WNBA game will be lining up. Resellers are already planning strategies. Secondary market prices will be absurd. Then they'll restock. And the cycle will repeat. What makes this even more interesting is how selective Clark reportedly is with her endorsements. Not every brand gets her name. And that selectivity is strategic and smart. When your name alone can crash corporate websites and sell out products in 20 seconds, you cannot afford weak partnerships. A bad product doesn't just fail. It dilutes the power that makes every good endorsement so valuable. That's why every Clark product launch feels like an event. It's why 2,200 Gatorade bottles sparked this conversation. And it's why the shoe release is going to be chaos. Because when a name is carefully curated, every time it appears, it carries real weight, not just marketing hype. Now add in the broader economic reality. A lot of people are struggling right now. The cost of living is up. Discretionary spending is under real pressure. That should make it harder to sell a limited-run $20 water bottle. And yet, 2,200 units. 20 seconds. Website crashed. Resale listings appeared almost instantly, before most people even knew the drop had happened. The Clark commercial ecosystem doesn't fully obey traditional economic logic. Because this isn't rational consumer behavior. It's emotional. People aren't just buying products, they're expressing identity, loyalty, and connection to a story that genuinely moves them. And emotional demand is far more durable than practical demand. Price matters less. Utility matters less. Feeling matters more. Some say the mania has settled. And that's true, the constant viral frenzy has calmed. But what replaced it is actually more powerful. Not mania. Gravity. Mania is fragile. Gravity is lasting. The website didn't crash because of a viral moment that week. It crashed because baseline demand alone was enough to overwhelm a global brand's digital infrastructure. That's healthier. That's stronger. That's sustainable. A $20 water bottle. 20 seconds. A crashed website. The shoe hasn't even dropped yet. The season hasn't even started yet. The internet may need better infrastructure. Because Caitlin Clark isn't slowing down. Not for labor disputes. Not for lockouts. Not for economic pressure. She's built different, and the numbers keep proving it. Hit that like button, subscribe, and drop your thoughts below. See you next time.